If your company sells a physical product, you're faced with a massive strategic question. Do you make stuff based on a forecast, or do you wait for an actual order? Now, this isn't just some minor operational detail. No, this is a core decision that shapes your costs, how happy your customers are, and where you stand in the market. So let's break down how the smartest companies tackle this choice. At the heart of every supply chain strategy, there's this constant tug of war. On one side, you have the relentless drive for efficiency, making things in bulk to get those costs down. But on the other side, you've got the absolute need for responsiveness, being able to react quickly to what customers actually want, which can be pretty unpredictable. Every business has to figure out where they want to live on this spectrum, because focusing on one usually means sacrificing a bit of the other. So, what's the right answer? Well, here's the thing. For most businesses today, picking just one side is a false choice. The really sophisticated supply chains don't just choose efficiency or responsiveness. They build a system that delivers both. And that clever hybrid model is exactly what we're going to unpack today. So, here's our game plan. First, we'll get into the two basic strategies, the push system and the pull system. Then, we'll lay out a simple way to decide which one fits your situation. And finally, we'll dive into the really slick hybrid model and see how it works in the real world to give companies a serious edge. Let's get started. All right, let's kick things off with the classic approach, the push system. This is the traditional model, and it's all driven by forecasts. The logic is pretty straightforward. The company tries to predict future demand, makes enough product to meet that prediction, and then pushes all that inventory out into the market, hoping customers will buy it. The official term for this is a make-to-stock system. Basically, you start making things because your forecast, which is usually based on past sales and market trends, tells you to. What's really key here is that the information and the physical goods are all flowing in the same direction, from the company out to the market. It's a system built entirely on prediction. The whole process is proactive and moves in a straight line. It all kicks off with that demand forecast. Based on what that forecast says, the company starts production, usually in these huge batches to get the best efficiency. Those finished products then get pushed out into the distribution network, filling up warehouses and store shelves, all ready for that final step, the customer walking in and buying it. So if we boil it down, this is what it's all about. You can see how everything hinges on that crystal ball, the forecast. The whole system is designed around planning and anticipating what's going to happen. This approach works really well for products that take a long time to make. The company basically takes on the risk of holding all that inventory, betting that its predictions about the market are right on the money. This quote really nails the core idea. The system is driven by what they think the overall market demand will be, not by a specific request from a single customer. The company is making a bet on the market as a whole, churning out products before anyone has even asked for them. All right, now let's flip the script completely and look at the other end of the spectrum. The pull system takes that whole logic and turns it upside down. With this system, you don't guess what the demand will be, you just react to it. This is the foundation of lean manufacturing, and you've probably heard it called just-in-time, or JIT. Here, production only starts when a real customer places an order. The main goal? To eliminate waste. And from a lean point of view, the biggest waste of all is having tons of inventory just sitting around. You can see right away how this whole process is flipped on its head. The trigger is the customer order. That order sends a signal, in a classic lean system, it's called a Kanban, back up the chain to say, okay, start building this. Only then is the product actually made and sent to the customer. It's a completely reactive, demand-driven way of working. So what's the big idea here? It's all about being nimble and cutting out waste. By working just in time, you keep your inventory of finished goods super low. But that means you need a really flexible production system that can handle small, custom orders efficiently. This makes it a perfect strategy for products with a lot of variety, or when customers want something fast and personalized.
This quote just perfectly sums up the difference. The focus shifts entirely to actual demand. There's no crystal ball, no guessing about finished products. The system only builds what a customer has already paid for, or at least committed to buying. The entire strategic difference boils down to that one thing, a forecast versus a real order. Okay, so we've got these two powerful but totally opposite strategies. The big question for any leader is, how do you choose? The answer isn't about which one is better in a general sense. It's about which one is the right strategic fit for your product, your market, and what your company is good at. So let's build a quick framework to help make that decision.
Look, when you zoom out, the trade-off is crystal clear. The proactive push strategy lets you save money by making things in huge batches, but you're taking on the risk of being stuck with stuff nobody wants. On the flip side, the reactive pull strategy gets rid of that inventory risk, but you lose out on those cost savings, and you have to be incredibly fast and flexible. It's that classic battle, efficiency versus agility. Now, this is where it gets really practical. This simple matrix helps you figure out what's right for you. Let's walk through it. Take demand. If it's stable and predictable, think something like toilet paper, a push strategy makes a ton of sense. But if demand is all over the place, like for a custom computer, pull is the way to go. If your whole business model is about massive scale to keep prices low, you push. If your selling point is customization, you pull. It's a really powerful tool for any operations leader. And this brings us to the most elegant solution of all, which basically asks, why choose? What if you could strategically separate parts of your supply chain so you get the cost savings of push and the speed of pull? Well, that's the genius behind the hybrid model. A push-pull system is exactly what it sounds like, an integrated model. The secret sauce is that you strategically split your supply chain. The first part of the process runs on a forecast-driven push system to keep costs low. But the last part, the part that faces the customer, runs on a demand-driven pull system to be super responsive. The goal is to get that perfect balance of both. Let me show you how this actually works. It starts with a push phase for all the generic standard parts. Think about a PC company. They might mass produce basic frames and motherboards based on a forecast because they know they'll need them. These parts get pushed to a certain point, and then they stop. That point is the push-pull boundary. It's the crucial spot where the system switches gears. The final assembly, the pull phase, only happens after a customer places an order specifying the exact processor, memory, and hard drive they want. And the payoff for getting this right? It's huge. On the financial side, you get the cost efficiency of mass production, but you optimize your inventory because you're holding cheap parts, not expensive finished computers. Operationally, you're way more responsive. You can adapt to what customers want right now and deliver it faster. It all leads to happier customers and a much stronger, more efficient supply chain. It's a really powerful combination. Okay, that's the theory. But let's look at a real-world example to see how this plays out. A perfect case study of a push-pull strategy is the television manufacturing industry. This slide lays it out perfectly. The push phase is what happens at the factory. Manufacturers crank out massive numbers of standard models, like a 55-inch 4K TV, based on their forecast to keep costs down. These TVs are then pushed out to big regional warehouses. The pull phase happens at the store level. A retailer like Best Buy doesn't just guess what to put on their shelves. They watch the sales data in real time. When they see a certain TV is flying off the shelves, they place an order, pulling more of that specific model from the warehouse to their store. And that right there is the magic of the hybrid model. The manufacturer gets the efficiency of making TVs on a massive scale, but the retailer and the whole supply chain get the adaptability to react instantly to what we, the consumers, actually want to buy. This cuts down the risk of having warehouses full of unpopular TVs while making sure the hot sellers are always in stock. It really is the best of both worlds. So let's bring this all home. This push-pull logic isn't just for huge manufacturing companies. It can apply to any system or workflow. Think about your own team or even how you manage your own to-do list. I'll leave you with this question to chew on. Where in your workflow are you pushing work based on assumptions? And where could you get a huge benefit from switching to a pull system where you only act on real, immediate needs? Finding that perfect boundary just might be the key to unlocking a whole new level of performance.